My name is Tretter and I'm from Munich, Germany, and I recently finished my master's course in interior and spatial design at the Politecnico di Milano. Together with my thesis professor, Giulia Gerosa, I've written my thesis on the topic of temporary interventions for unused brownfields. When reading the brief for the London conference about livable cities, my thesis seemed very relevant to the topic, which is why we decided to write a paper to submit on the subject and give a short presentation. First, let me quickly introduce the title. The idea for the thesis started with a simple building gap in Munich that had been vacant for many years and it started to bother me. I didn't understand why such a valuable location was unused for this long period of time and thought of activities it could be used for while empty. From around that time, I started noticing other building gaps throughout Munich as well as Milan and decided to use this for my thesis. The idea of a blueprint design immediately came to my mind, as my design thinking always tries to incorporate flexibility and adaptability. Therefore, my title, Bprint, is a combination of the blueprint as well as the building gaps in brackets. When thinking of the solution, the most important aspect for me were the people and how they were going to use the space. Therefore, the thesis question states: do people in Munich want to fill unused spaces such as building sites or brownfields with activities to boost the city's culture and community? My idea formed not only with that first building gap, but it also formed with my fascination for abandoned and unused spaces. This has always been an interest of mine, as I saw the incredible opportunity for making use of what is already there and filling spaces with the needs of people around. At the same time, I believe that a design is only truly strong if it solves a problem. Therefore, my thesis problem focuses not only on building gaps, but specifically those in major locations, like seen in this map of Munich. Since the question itself focuses on the wants and needs of the people, the most important data to collect, in my opinion, was a survey with a minimum of 100 people from each area, as well as a more detailed interview, which could help create a variety of personas per area and provide a more in depth description of what people are looking for or what is missing. The final steps of the brief for this thesis focused on the client being the cities themselves, as well as the funding, which could be part of a community based organization. There are some located in Munich already, and when speaking to them about this topic, the interest was quite high. To understand different approaches to small scale urban spaces, temporary interventions, and unused building gaps, I explored various definitions and case studies. Small scale urban spaces like Agora Maximus in Montreal serve multiple community purposes. Unused building gaps, such as Pigalle du Père Court in Paris, are vacant lots that can be revitalized, and temporary spaces like Park and Play in Copenhagen are designed for short term use but can significantly impact urban life. In my first semester of the master course, the Sustainable Development Goals were introduced, and throughout all future projects, it will be important for me to focus on a few of their goals to have some guideline and try and solve more than just my own project problem. For the thesis, both Goal 3, Good Health and Well-being, and Goal 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities, had targets that I wanted to meet. This is also where a big overlap can be seen with the needs of the brief for the Livable Cities Conference. I would like to highlight how the goals of the livable city align seemingly with the SDGs that I was focusing on. The conference emphasizes innovative urban design, sustainability, and resilience, which directly relate to Goal 11. By promoting inclusive urbanization and effective use of space, my paper mirrors these principles by repurposing brownfields into vibrant community hubs. Moreover, the conference focuses on healthy cities and public well-being, which ties perfectly with Goal 3. By creating green spaces in areas for community engagement, the interventions I propose not only address immediate urban issues, but also contribute to long-term health and well-being. In essence, the goals of the conference and the SDGs converge on creating adaptable, sustainable, and community-focused urban environments, ensuring a higher quality of life for all residents. This diagram was a big inspiration for my thesis, and it came from the topic of placemaking. What if we build our cities around places? By the Project for Public Spaces. This diagram focused on sociability, which inspired designs for community interactions like pop-up markets, uses and activities, which highlight the needs for diverse, flexible spaces, access and linkage, which emphasize the importance of connectivity within the urban fabric, and comfort and image, which guided the creation of inviting, safe environments. These principles ensure that repurposing brownfields become vibrant, accessible, and welcoming community hubs, enhancing urban livability. In my opinion, this diagram should serve as a guideline for any city striving to be more livable. The introduction of the functions is vital in understanding how to produce a blueprint and determine what is needed for these spaces. So these functions collected were split into 4 categories: move, stay, feel, and use. And this classification helps provide an overall understanding of the potential activities, while color coding aids in creating a versatile design with multiple functions. Within the move category, the focus was on sporty activities, dancing, playgrounds, and interactive games, and these activities promote physical health and outdoor mental well being. The activities can create dynamic and engaging environments that encourage active lifestyles. For the stay category, areas for relaxation were included, providing spaces where people could linger and enjoy environment comfortably. These relaxing spaces are essential for creating a welcoming atmosphere. While in the field category, activities like art installations, galleries, pop-up markets were designed to enhance sensory experiences and emotional engagement with the spaces. These activities emphasize importance of cultural enrichment. And finally, the use category focused on practical and engaging activities like TED Talks, community workshops, pop-up markets, and emphasizing functionality and community involvement. These functional activities demonstrate how they can bring together people and foster community spirit. The 4 categories of functions were further categorized into sections, including education, workspace, artistic spaces, calm spaces, and more. And the categorization helps later in choosing specific needs for vacant spaces while maintaining flexibility in what to choose from. Here you can see that the approach allows for combining categories to create diverse, adaptable environments. And these combinations show the flexibility of the design. From function to form. It was crucial to find suitable forms for every activity, and while some activities could stand freely or be open, others needed a platform for performances or some kind of a shelter. The diagram highlights also smaller activities that could serve as add-ons to the shelter, which led to the most important element of the design, the container, or more importantly, how it would be used through the toolbox. The toolbox serves as a guideline for any vacant area and can be adjusted and changed based on the needs of that area. Here you can see the principles that guided me through the design for the toolbox. We started with a hard edge core, softened by adding soft edges. These could be creating pockets that can be used for additional activities, while the voids are cut out in rounded shapes. The container in the middle, you can see, was the original container and transformed into the core container, which is adaptable for various functions. Some walls can be removed to suit specific needs, and windows can be replaced with flexible rubber pipe design. On the right, you can see the panels that shape the design outside of the container and include shelving panels, simple panels, and design-specific void panels. In this slide, you can see a small selection of different containers and panel combinations. There are slight adaptations to the core container, and the panels are shaped in various ways to create functional pockets for additional needs. Whereas in this slide, the containers are placed next to each other. In some cases, removing a wall can create larger spaces if needed, allowing for flexible, adaptable designs. Within the containers, there are layouts for furniture specifically tailored to the functions. For example, this listening room helps people speak to a stranger like a small therapy session, providing comfort with soft furniture and privacy through curtains. Here are different layouts showing a wide range of designs and functions, from a help center to a playground. The container and panels can be adjusted as needed to accommodate the different services. The toolbox tries not only to achieve the SDGs previously talked about, but also my personal design goals for this project. These include repurposing abandoned spaces, reconnecting nature and the city, rebalancing sustainability, reusing the temporary designs, recycling existing structures, restoring a sense of community, researching various scales, and regaining vacant lots. The concept image on the right shows how we can start from a simple box and move on to a wide variety of designs, sometimes thinking outside of the box. It was really important to design specifically for a few sites to ensure that the toolbox would actually work. Similar to the principle for the toolbox, the sites needed guidelines with key aspects, including circulation through the containers, activating spaces in between, creating color extensions, elevating some containers for visual comfort, and activating the edges and connecting them through greenery while zoning the whole area. The design was tailored to the site, small, medium, and large sizes, showcasing the flexibility and scalability of the interventions. Here, a small site shows that a tighter in between spaces of the design create more private open areas. This ensures the design can adapt to different spatial constraints while maintaining functionality. The first visual highlights for the first time the materials used in the design. Corrugated steel of the original container, wood and fluted glass. These materials ensure durability, aesthetic appeal, and enhancing the overall visual experience of the space. You can also see the color extensions on the floor, which combine with the ceilings, and the panels can be laid out in a more playful manner, adding vibrancy and character to the space, like in this playground. The medium-sized vacant space, the zoning becomes more apparent, and the possibility for better typography is given. The spaces between the containers can be used for outdoor furniture with covers, as shown in this example of a food stall market. This creates greater opportunity for temporary use. Columns hold up the ceilings to provide lighting during darker months and evenings, which ensure the spaces remain functional and inviting throughout the year. The larger site can create a more expansive experience with more open spaces and a greater variety of spaces. The zoning helps maintain balance and prevents the effect of the containers from becoming overwhelming. The elevations of different spaces are more important with accessibility in mind. For instance, wheelchair accessible design, or even the bike parking, which encourages greener transportation options, contributing to the overall sustainability of the project. Elevations not only improve the visual appeal of the containers, but also enhance functionality. For example, the co-working zones benefit from better light and ventilation, while elevated seating areas provide additional resting spots for passbyers. To conclude and return to the concept of a livable city, transforming vacant spaces into hubs of cultural community activities can significantly enhance a city's livability. My thesis demonstrates how temporary interventions guided by the toolbox framework can efficiently transform unused brownfields into vibrant community hubs. This approach addresses immediate urban issues and contributes to the city's long-term cultural social richness. The principles and strategies discussed can serve as a blueprint for other cities facing similar challenges and vacant spaces. By focusing on community engagement and flexibility and sustainability, these interventions can significantly enhance urban livability and provide a valuable model for future urban development. Thank you for considering my work as a contribution to making our cities more livable.